Welcome to our channel Lightlane Vision. Today Mother will continue with part 4 on the subject of, she's talking about the difference between men and women. So in the first 3 parts that I recommend you to watch, because we learn a lot of things again, like always with the Mother's video. Mother explained that really to be complete, we need to, for women, we need to integrate our masculine side, which is our soulmate, and the same for men. So the men need to integrate their female side or principle. Welcome, Mother. I hope I explained this in an okay form, because you covered so much material in the first 3 videos. So you will continue today to explain to us more about the principle that is guiding us.
Yes, as I already said in the 3rd video, this quest for the opposite principle in yourself is what's called daily life on earth, but we're not conscious of it. So each woman, in one way or another, through the whole of her lifetime, is dealing with the masculine principle outside herself or inside herself, and the goal is to integrate a bit more this principle in herself, in this quest, this final quest to reunite with the masculine principle in herself. But that will not take place in one life. So you will see, as a woman, you're constantly confronted in one way or another to the masculine principle, and a man to the feminine principle. In so many ways. All of life talks about it. But we do not see it because we have not learned to analyze it in that way. So men are constantly confronted to the difficulty they have, for instance, between sexuality, a physical act, and feelings. Many men, when they're in front of women will tell them, yeah, but you lack feelings, you lack love, you lack emotion, you lack expression of what you feel, what's living in you. That's what they hear all the time, in one way or another. And in the first place, very often linked to sexuality. But even in all the rest of life, they will feel it, they will see it. Not as long as they stay just with men. When men are amongst men, they can leave it out to a certain degree. But as soon as they are confronted to women, their daughters, their mother, their wife, the feelings come up. They are confronted to feelings. Because women, in their feminine structure, are linked to that. Of course, when a woman can talk, and it can just go from brain to brain, it can stay on a very mental level. But for a woman, that's not satisfying on the long run. So men will, in one way or another, all the time be confronted to what are they doing with their emotions and their feelings. Because at one moment in their lifetime, or even every day, women will reproach them that what do they feel? Where are their emotions? And how do they deal with that? Well, that's the masculine quest, to transform sexual, purely physical energy in something bigger, linked to love. And women push them in that direction, because they say, we lack feelings when we are in front of you as a man. On the other way around, women are confronted on a day-to-day basis to men. And those men, they want to help them if they smile at them, if they're nice to them. But their help goes to a certain extent. And at one moment or another, the woman is again alone and has to do it herself and be independent and become more strong and use their own muscles. That's the life of a woman. Men show to women each day, you have to become stronger, you have to become more independent, you have to think yourself, do it yourself. That's the language of man. They will not say it in those words, but that's their behavior. They will be there 1 hour, 2 hours, and then they leave, and you're alone. And you have to do it with yourself. in an independent way. Or they give you the children and then you're alone with the children. In one way or another, a woman in interaction with the masculine sex is confronted all the time exactly to something that she doesn't want to see, that she's alone. He's there to a certain extent, for a certain time, for certain things, and all the rest in your life you have to do it yourself. Or you need your own money, or you need your own car because he's gone with his car. That's the life of a woman. He's not there. That's women. That's our life. So each time in this interaction with the opposite sex, you're confronted to what you have to learn, to make concrete, to incarnate. Men, feelings and emotions. Women, independence and more strength. Standing on their own feet. Now, that is not a problem as long as you do not confound this in yourself with becoming a man. Or, for a man, becoming a woman. No, it's not because you have to integrate part of the opposite sex that you have to become. If you are a man, we do not ask from men that they become women, and we do not ask from women that they become men. But still, life itself shows, through the interaction between the two sexes, that something of that opposite sex you have to integrate, you have to learn to make concrete in yourself and in your life. Because this man is not always there to help you. And that woman is not always there to help you as a man neither. Now, if we touch this part of life, we have to see that dealing with the opposite sex is in fact dealing with yourself. Trying through this interaction to integrate more and more, as I already said many times in these videos, trying to integrate the man in yourself or the woman in yourself. That is to say, the feeling and emotion level for a man, and the independency and strength and standing on your own feet for a woman. But that's what life is about. And as I already said, that's not the same thing as becoming a man. And what is the main point is that for a woman and for a man, integrating this opposite sex means finding it in oneself, in the other part of oneself, in the soul. Because the soul is the only part that can make us whole. Playing a masculine role will not make a woman more whole. Starting to cry and to show all kinds of emotions does not make a man whole. If you look at there are not so many for the moment examples of that, but people in the past, in history, that we can call more integrated beings, were always persons that did not play a masculine or feminine role, but they had the two, and they could, in a harmonious way, express that in life. So our examples in the course of history of complete men and women were people that were incarnated in the body they were in. They were either man or woman, but could work with the opposite principle in themselves to the point that they were not, or very few, there was almost no dependency on the other sex. And then you have the examples of women that could, that stood on their own feet, that were strong in many difficult situations, and that could be alone. And there are examples of that kind of woman. It has to do with not being corruptible, as I already said, when it comes to the weaker side of your sex, men that are not corruptible with sexuality, and women that cannot be corrupted because of the love of certain people in their life, that they're craving for that love and they give everything for it, and so they're weak, their weak point. If a woman does not have that, then we can talk from a strong woman who has integrated her masculine principle. And those persons have been there in history. I do not have the names immediately in my head, but it's sure those people have been there. Even though they were perhaps not the figures that we have in mind when we think about the past, because unfortunately the heroes of humankind have not always been heroes from a spiritual point of view. They were still corruptible. Yes. Now, although the fact that life is pushing us in a large scale of time towards our other principle inside of ourselves, you can say that from a point of view on a more daily basis, people do not, when they ask for help or when they have difficulties, they do not seek the final liberation and the illumination on the spot. What I mean to say is, when you have conflicts as a man in life or as a woman, the conflict is always dealing in one way or another with the opposite sex. And perhaps I can make another video about that. But that does not mean that you immediately seek the ultimate liberation from the person that's in front of you or linked to the problem you have to deal with. What I want to say is that I very well know that people on a daily basis seek a solution for their problem, but that solution is a step on the way. It's not the final step.
There's many steps.
There are many steps still to go. But still, in any case that you have to do, in any conflict you have in your life, whether it's a man or a woman, basically, if you really want to solve it, you go for a certain amount of liberation towards, for men, often the sexual urge, and for women, the links she has with the people around her. That's what you have to know.
You're talking about when we have conflicts?
Yes.
So we have to look at what is...
Yes. Well, for men it's perhaps a little bit, I will explain it later, a little bit more difficult to see because it can be veiled. And still it's true what I say. For women it's more visible. If a woman has difficulties in her life, if you analyze this very neatly, it will always come back to a to at least one kind of relationship she has in her life with a person that's in fact dominating her. This cannot be denied. But if you do not see it like that, this conflicts in our lives can be veiled because they present themselves in other forms, in other
disguise.
It has another, what you see from an outer plane, it's something else than what it really is about. But if you analyze it, it's, as I say, for a woman, any kind of conflict has to do with real independency or not real independency. and all the links she has with people that she is in fact dependent on. For man it has to do with the relationship to his masculinity, which is very often very physical. It has to do with the sexual urge, with what he can perform on the sexual plane, or is he still a man in a vital way.
Mm-hmm.
And that basic conflict can be dressed up in very many ways. You don't even see it anymore. But it's somehow behind it. And you have to know that. Otherwise you cannot really understand the problem. But then we need another video to analyze this more in detail.
That's great. We'll have another one.
Yes.
Yes.
But what's important is that you know that whatever the difficulties are that you have in life, the solution is in making use of the opposite principle in yourself. In one way or another. And think about it. You will see. Perhaps as a woman you have to become stronger, more independent, on your own feet, and as a man you have to get rid of wanting to be a man with all your sexual force and your domination.
To be more giving.
To become more giving, more in your feeling level, allowing emotions to be there, difficulties to be there, working on some conflicts and suffering.
Wow, thank you, Mother. That's a lot to think about and to apply.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. So I hope you enjoyed this and that you will try to integrate all these principles, because it's so helpful. I cannot say I do it every day. I try, I do my possible, but you need to pay attention to your life and to the events in your life and to the conflicts. Thanks again, Mother. Thank you for watching. We'll see you very soon. Have a nice day.
Le soleil se lève sur la ville sans se soucier. Sur le toit et tuiles il brille. Nouvelle journée et je pense à la veille quand tu m'as confié ton départ. Quelle drôle d'idée, quelle drôle d'idée. Ton départ, quelle drôle d'idée, quelle drôle d'idée. Quelle drôle d'idée. mais le choix pourtant me reste. C'est ma